In almost every home, the Green Book was a standard. Maybe not quite as popular as the Bible, but still yet very useful during those days.
Well, during the time of segregation, many businesses across the country wouldn't accommodate people of color, even though they had money. Like Americans weren't allowed to do business in certain places because of the color of their skin. For that reason, the Green Book was created. It listed businesses like hotels, restaurants, barbershops, and much more in different states that would welcome people of color. Cities around South Carolina are listed in the Green Book, and tonight, for the first time, Alicia Nieves tells us about the Orangeburg connection.
I remember one occasion when my own family benefited very greatly from the Green Book.
At the age of 25, Cecil Williams took a road trip with his family, traveling from his hometown of Orangeburg to visit relatives in New York City. The year was 1962.
The farther north we got, of course, the less rigid segregation patterns and things will open up.
As they drove on Highway 301 near Fayetteville, North Carolina, their car broke down. The repair would keep them there for the night, so they pulled out the Green Book.
It wasn't every place that people of color could really shop at or where you were welcome. There were so many places that were discriminated against, and you could not go. Signs of racism, white only. Had it not been for the Green Book, we would not have been able to find a place to stay overnight.
As a professional photographer, Williams took a snapshot of that moment. The photograph is on display at the Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum in Orangeburg.
And I have a picture of the hood of the car, and my mother and my sister are standing by, and we are waiting for the wrecker to come and, of course, haul our car away.
The Green Book played a pivotal role in keeping the Williams family safe that day. These pages listed hundreds of businesses from coast to coast where African Americans were welcomed.
He gave the land and everything.
Louise Johnson's family owned the single Orangeburg listing in the Green Book. The home at 1220 Lancaster Street belonged to her uncle, Jerry Johnson, and his wife, Pearl.
He's my father's brother.
Jerry Johnson lived at 1220 Lancaster. His home also had rooms for rent at a good price. Mr. Johnson's doors were always open, and his wife would always have something to serve.
He had apartment, house, and he had a business, restaurant. His wife was a cook. She loved to cook and sing, and well, she's a sweetheart.
Johnson remembers her uncle as one of the first black motel and restaurant owners in Orangeburg County. His obituary states he was a successful contractor in South Carolina.
He was just a person that he loved to give and help people.
In 1975, Jerry Johnson donated the property to his place of worship, where he also served as a deacon, Greater Faith Baptist Church. It stands on the property today, along with a child development center on the very spot where Johnson lived.
The calling on Uncle Jerry's on his life was very sure, and it helped a lot of people.
Seated with Mrs. Johnson are two of her daughters, Glenda and Delphine. The family says their goal is to preserve their uncle's legacy, perhaps with a historical marker.
There are many that come and go. Greater Faith has a soup kitchen, and there are many folk who are not members of our church and, members of the community, but for them to know, the hallowed grounds that they walk on.
Family members believe a marker would help recognize their uncle's hard work, while also educating the community about the rich history of Orangeburg featured in the Green Book.
They will think things went on other places and locations, but not right here where they live.
Exactly.
And they need to know that they too have a rich history right in their own town. That is a part of Black history.
Alicia Nieves, News 19, WLTX.